Hey everyone, welcome to episode 22 of Heroic Nonsense. A bit of a break today from Transformers as we take a look at the recently released G.I. Joe Classified VAMP with Clutch. This is my second review of G.I. Joe Classified on here, the first being the HasLab His Tank. The link is here and below. And I've been sticking to some of the bigger vehicles for now. However, if you'd like to see some more G.I. Joe Classified thrown into the mix, I'm happy to do some figure or smaller vehicle reviews as we do have tons of open and unopened ones in our collection. Let me know in the comments. For now, let's check out Clutch and his vamp, and if you like what you see here, I'd love it if you guys could like this episode and subscribe. Also, check out the end for some cool action shots of Clutch and the vamp with some other figures and vehicles. Alright, let's start with a semi-aerial view so you can take it all in. I love this vehicle and I love what Hasbro has been doing with all the vehicles to date, including the Cobra flight pods, the Ram motorcycles, Serpentor and his air chariot, and of course the HasLab Hiss. I still can't believe they're making these full-size vehicles for G.I. Joe Classified, but we are all in. This vehicle is awesome and has everything you'd want in a G.I. Joe Vamp. You can see just from the overall look how amazing it is, and I 100% recommend to any G.I. Joe fans, including fans of the 1/18th scale, to grab this if they can. I'd even recommend it for those who are thinking of starting a G.I. Joe collection. I know they'll be using this as the model for the Cobra Stinger, and I'm sure they'll reuse this mold for Tiger Force, Python Patrol, and other versions of the G.I. Joe Jeeps, so there will be plenty of opportunities to get different versions of this. Very sleek but tough looking front with those nice chunky tires sticking out of the sides. I'm about to go into more detail for each part here, but this shot really showcases how cool every part of this Jeep looks. The hood and grille replicates a lot of the elements of the original 1/18th scale vehicle while also adding in some nice new elements like the strapped on blanket, shovel, working towing system, and lights. I wish I had my original one with me here, but again, it's at my parents'. I will get it next time I'm there and do a comparison short of the two vehicles. I absolutely love these added blue roll bar lights, as well as the lower one on the grille bumper. You can also see these great tow hooks that were added and some nice bit of extra detailing with the black chain with caution sticker next to it. The main headlights are also nicely sculpted with the clear plastic overlay. With the front bumper lights removed, you can see the tow bar system, which I'll show a bit more of in the video review section. You can even open up the hood, which is also an added feature to this version of the Vamp, and which includes a nicely detailed black engine inside. Shifting to the back of the Jeep, check out even more accessories and details with these two gas tanks, similar to the original, but with an added axe that clips on, and embossed stickers everywhere. And you cannot have a G.I. Joe Vamp Jeep without the two very characteristic machine guns loaded onto its back. These versions are extremely detailed, with bullets coming out of two ammo cans and feeding into the guns themselves. You've even got the number of this Vamp Jeep embossed into the machine guns. The tan seats are very realistic looking, even though they are made of plastic. Looks like it could even be leather or some 80s type of material used for the seats from far. I seriously can't believe that they used some reflective material for the side mirrors, which is such a great touch and shows how much care and attention went into this design. The coolest bit of detailing is definitely the inside cabin. Just look at how much they packed into the dashboard. Everything from a radio system and 3D digital map to 80s style buttons and all the regular elements you'd find in a Jeep dashboard. You can also see the gear shifter, which actually moves back and forth, along with the steering wheel that turns. I love how they've gone back to the original 80s Real American Hero feel to the line, including placing this very cool camoed up American flag. You can even read the caution statement, which I'll do for you guys now so you can appreciate how awesome this is. Please keep hands and feet in the vehicle at all times. Vehicle should only be operated by a trained professional. G.I. Joe is not responsible for any injury received while operating this vehicle. Totally awesome. On the other side, you have the same warning plus the original G.I. Joe logo. And here are some other fun details, including the to unlatch statement, which is all over the Jeep, which says pull on release lever and fold backwards slowly to avoid finger trap, the toolkit indicator, as well as the med aid kit indicator. They really went all in on the detailing, mold-wise as well as sticker-wise. Ending with the hood to show some closer detail on the accessories here, including the original mini laser, the new sleeping bag attachment, the shovel, as well as the US logo with the more updated G.I. Joe star. Now onto the man of the hour himself, Clutch. Such a cool looking figure, blending in some of the old school fatigue colors with a more modern look and style, including with his haircut. He has nicely detailed tattoos on both forearms with some dice and flags and some other design which I think is a flaming tire on his left arm, and a 50s style pinup girl with some very metal looking ink on the right. You can again see the American flag on his shoulder here. He's also got this tool belt looking strap on his right leg that houses some cool details like a pen and I believe a Swiss Army knife type tool, as well as a removable red wrench. You can also appreciate some of the nice texturing to his uniform in this close-up. Since we ended up buying two VAMPs, I can show you the figures next to each other to highlight the different accessories Clutch comes with. On the left, I have Clutch holding the wrench and handgun while wearing his old school helmet, while on the right he is wearing the more updated version of the Steel Brigade helmet that we have seen on some other figures today while holding a shotgun with pistol holstered on his chest. For a closer look at these new G.I. Joe helmets, we can again appreciate the amount of detail that went into the design, from the paint job to the rivets to the comms earpiece. On the other side, there's some different detailing going on as well. Take a look at the details on his visor, grade A stuff. So let's put Clutch into his Jeep. Fairly easy to put him in through the top, and he and the other similar sized Joes actually fit in pretty well. An added feature is the ability to remove both machine guns from the back of the Jeep, so you can use them as personal machine guns that the Joes can carry around, similar to the Gatling gun on the Ram motorcycle. So overall, very cool figure, blending the new and the old, and a great addition to your G.I. Joe roster. Alright, let's look at some live action. You can obviously push the Jeep back and forth. They have these nice big chunky wheels made out of rubber and independent shocks for each of the four wheels, as you can see here. Very cool. Let's turn it around to the front. Take a look at all the details here. You got the two hooks on the front, two tow hooks, and then you have this light that you can remove. You can also remove the two top ones, and by doing so you have a little more of the classic look of the VAMP. You can bring down the windshield up and down, and lift up the hood like so you can see the engine inside. You can take off the sleeping bag and also the mini laser. Obviously if you take them off they have those holes sticking out, so most would probably want to keep it on. You can also remove the shovel, which is a very cool feature. So you got all these great accessories you can play around with on the Jeep. And then of course one of the cooler parts is this tow line. It's got a hook at the end, and you can wrap that around different parts of other vehicles or the string itself and tow whatever you want, essentially. Rolls back in. And now if we look to the side, you have these handlebars that actually can be removed, and I'll show in a little bit how the figures can hold on to it and hang off the side of the Jeep. And then of course you have the machine guns on the back. It's removable, and you can pull out the bullets and these bullet cases. And like I said earlier, and showed you guys earlier, you could actually take out each of the machine guns and use them individually with the figures. You slip on back very easily. We'll turn it around to the back. And here you have the two gas tanks. Also you can remove them like the original Jeep from the 80s. You have this axe. Nice little bit of accessory building here. Put it back on easily, and you even have a little fire extinguisher that fits on that you can remove and place back. So really tons of stuff going on with this vehicle. Really amazing amount of detail. And there you got the hook, which I'm sure will pull some other mini vehicles at some point later on. And there you have it. As far as scale goes, he's in line with all the mainline figures. I've placed him here with some of the original Joes who I think he looks cool with, specifically Flint, Beachhead, and Breaker, who came with the Ram motorcycle. As for vehicles and accompanying figures, I placed the Ram and Breaker with the Vamp and Clutch here so you can see how amazing they look together. Generally the same color green for the vehicles, and very cool to have these two original vehicles and figures together in the classified line. I truly never thought we'd ever get the Vamp or Hiss in this scale, but here they are, and how cool do these two look together? I mean, these are all the 80s G.I. Joe vehicles finally together with the G.I. Joe classified scale figures and in such detail. I have our Hiss decked out in the more modern version with all the extra weapons and updated cockpit. Perhaps I'll do a short on the scaled back versions of both the Vamp and Hiss as a callback to the original versions at some point. And finally, the three ground vehicles together. What a cool setup. I didn't show the Tiger Force versions of the Ram or the regular and Python Patrol versions of the Trouble Bubbles we have in this review, but you can see them in this short linked here and below. Now to the fun part, some action shots of the Joes versus Cobra. As promised, I have Beachhead hanging off the side holding onto the handbars attached to the roll bar of the Vamp, which makes for a very cool display, and I have Duke in the passenger side of the other Vamp. Because of the helmet Clutch comes with, you can easily make an additional no-name Joe figure from the extra clutch. I did the same for our two Rams, though I did change up the head of one of the breakers with an extra Duke we had from the Tiger Force Rams. I love these four vehicles together here. And to end it all, some action shots of the Vamp up against the Hiss and Scrap Iron's mobile missile system, along with some additional Joe vehicles for support. One last shot of the tow line in action. My boys have been playing with this feature the most. They've basically attached it to anything they can get their hands on, so I'd say the playability factor is right up there. Which kid, big or small, wouldn't want to play with an army jeep this size? Before we end this episode, I wanted to show you a few shots of the very nice packaging. If you guys have been following the classified line, Hasbro always has amazing action pictures for their classified line, and this is a perfect example of one of them. You can also see the new Cobra vehicle coming out next, which we've pre-ordered and I will likely review. Great art as well, as usual, with Clutch ready to clobber some Cobras with his wrench. This is release 112 in the classified series. The back display is very clean and detailed and showcases everything you get with the Vamp. And the other side, which is in line with the classified figure releases. The internal packaging is also really nice with the accessories box, which I have always appreciated the design of, and the paper packaging for some of the accessories. I noted in my recent review of gears from the Transformers United line that they have started using this type of paper packaging as well, which included the Autobot symbol in that case. A quick few shots of the guide itself, mostly showing you how to put together some of the parts of the vehicle, including the tires. This is a nice callback as well to the old toys which required some assembly. So that's it for this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed this G.I. Joe break in our regularly scheduled programming. We'll be back next episode with more Transformers, though there may be a week delay. Thanks everyone for sticking around, and see you all next time. And remember, it's all such heroic nonsense in the end.
Transform!